Hi, I'm in Arizona, US, and today I voted for Dr. Jill Stein in Arizona. And when I went to the polling station in the morning, I saw a stand for the Republican Party and one stand for the Democratic Party, but there was no stand for the Green Party. And I voted for all the candidates that were available for the Green Party, which were not that many. But having said that, it's a fresh start to try to write a different kind of history for not just the American people, but also for the rest of the world. It is kind of sad that in spite of the so-called democracy in US, you're still only offered two candidates, and you don't have more options available, because there are only two mainstream political parties, and both are heavily funded and sponsored and financed by the deep state actors and by the deep state corporations that are working to destroy this world and that are working to create profits out of warmongering and out of empowering the military industrial complex. So I saw three kinds of candidates. One candidate is promoting economy, that is Trump. Kamala is promoting feminism, and Dr. Jill Stein is promoting peace. And today, as of 5th November 2024, the world has not needed peace more than today ever, because if we do not end the war that's happening in the Middle East and even in Ukraine, we are looking at no more planet for us to be able to vote in another 4 years. So this is the need of the hour. We have an active Iraq happening right now. It's like you're being told to revisit the 2003 decision of the Bush administration to invade Iraq and decimate 1 million Iraqis for the most illegitimate reason, for a lie and for a deception. And now you are seeing the Democrats do the same thing, repeat Iraq and Gaza, genociding and butchering and destroying the lives of millions of Palestinians who were living in Gaza before the invasion started, to make BlackRock and Larry Fink happy, and to make Netanyahu, the cult, the radical extremist cult, happy. So Democrats are not humanitarians, they are not peaceful, they are warmongers, they are greedy, they are corrupt, and the policy is that of destruction, and they have apocalyptic policies that have brought the world to the brink of World War III. And it is unfortunate that we're still seeing Kamala being hoisted up as a potential candidate when she ran her entire vice presidency doing nothing. I mean, just compare her credentials with that of Dr. Jill Stein, who's a Harvard graduate, who's a physician, who has practiced as a physician, and who's been a humanitarian all her life, who's been a political activist, and who has always tried to fight against conflicts and against bloodshed, against violence, and always promoted peace. And we have to give her this much, that she has participated in the last 6 presidential elections, and she has not given up, and she is resilient enough to continue to participate. So this tells us a lot about her determination to try to change not just the US but the rest of the world, as the US policies have a direct effect on what happens in the rest of the world as well. So telling everybody that she's not going to win and she's a lost choice and it's a lost vote, it's the biggest lie of the century. And I think we have to come out of the two-party system trance and hypnotism and matrix and try to search for a third choice. And if we refuse to do that, which we are still refusing to do that collectively in US, out of one lie or another that we are being persuaded to believe in as usual, we are not going to have any different United States and any different world than what we have today. We have an almost delinquent bankrupt United States today, thanks to the warmongering of the Biden and Kamala Harris administration. The US dollar has been printed so much that it has totally lost its value globally. The US right now has a debt of $38 trillion. The US economy is at a standstill. It's technically become a war economy. It's been converted into a war economy. And the war economy is not helping an average American person. It is only helping the warmongers and the military-industrial complex. And it is bringing this world to its end pretty fast. And then the inflation has been wrecked. The home evictions, the apartment rents, the mortgage rates have quadrupled. Homelessness is on the rise. There has been a bankruptcy filing by businesses and by people by 16%. So there's a 16% rise in bankruptcies in the United States under the Biden and Harris administration. So if you want to vote for economy, you cannot say that Democrats are the ones who are going to bring the golden era and the age of Renaissance back to the United States. No, they have destroyed the country. They have destroyed its cultural values. They have divided the country. They are now spreading the politics of hate and fear. And they are the least interested in peace or in anything that has anything to do with humanity. They have blockaded the aid to the Gaza victims of genocide. They have not just killed the children, but they have also deprived the families of these children and these women that they killed. They have deprived them of the aid that has been sent to Gaza. The aid has been blockaded by Antony Blinken under Biden and under Kamala Harris. So if there was proper law and justice in the United States, both would have been impeached and indicted for war crimes, for committing atrocities, for breaking the Geneva Convention and also breaking the US Constitution that forbids the United States government to enable a genocide or to even empower it or fund it or arm it, which they have done in the last 4 years. I would say in the last 1 year primarily. So coming back to, okay, what are you going to see? Are you going to see a different United States in the future 4 years? No. There may not be a United States by the end of next year because there may not be another world to live in. The planet may be plunged into a doomsday apocalyptic state at the pace that we are looking at right now, where wars are escalating, bloodshed is escalating. Nobody's talking about de-escalation. Nobody's talking about restraining. Nobody's really talking about tangible, productive peace. When it comes to Trump, we have lived through the 4 years of Trump and we saw what happened. And it's not going to be any different than what it was in the 4 years of Trump. So we need to give a chance to a third person who has never ruled the United States before and who is an American citizen, who is an American doctor, American physician, is a graduate from one of the most prestigious Ivy League institutions of US. If you look at credentials wise and if you look at education wise, she's far superior to both Trump and Kamala Harris. And in terms of her values, in terms of her constitutional endorsement of United States, she is not talking about breaking the laws. She's a law-abiding citizen. She does not have any scandals attached to her. An interesting thing is, in the last 6 elections that she has contested against the Republican Party and against the Democratic Party, she has kept very steadfast to her values, unlike both these candidates who have been changing their statements more than they changed their clothes or, their shoes. So this tells you a lot about a person's integrity, a person's principles. So I think you should give her a chance and try to create a new chapter in the politics of United States so that the world can have hope. Because the world is right now isolating and ostracizing US based upon its rogue warmongering policies that are happening in the Middle East, where we have, as per the Lancet report, a loss of 200,000 civilian life due to direct funding, aiding, abetting, enabling, empowering, and arming of the genocide by the Biden administration. So the world is now leaving United States alone. They do not have any trust in the credibility of the United States. And if we give Dr. Jill Stein a chance, we may be able to gain the trust of the world once again. And we may be able to tell the world that, hey, United States is not a country that believes in genocide. Americans do not believe in committing genocide, and they will not stand by any candidate who is supporting a genocide or any regime that commits genocide. So this will be a message sent by the American people to the rest of the world that right now has zero faith in goodness of the American people or their regime. But let's say if at the end of the day she is again made to lose, Dr. Jill Stein, people will now have serious doubts about the integrity of the American people as well. Previously, we have all been blaming it all on the deep state, but now this is your chance to prove yourself, to tell the world that, hey, we the American people stand by peace. We the American people stand by what is right. We the American people will do what is the right thing to do. And we the American people believe in the US Constitution that does not allow a genocide to be orchestrated on the US tax dollars. So give this message to the rest of the world that you are humanitarian, that you are peace-seeking, that you do believe in coexistence with the rest of the world, because the rest of the world right now does not think that you are like that. You're losing your goodwill. You've already lost it because of the rogue policies of the front mainstream leaders that your US Congress is flashing right now. Both are claiming and supporting the genocide, unconditional support. And that gives a message to the rest of the world that when you vote for these leaders, you're not interested in peace, that your conversion into a global war machine against any one of them is not going to stop, and it's going to continue and only get worse. And this is just the beginning of the isolation of the United States from the rest of the world. The world is going to eventually rebel. It is already rebelling. We are seeing African nations going to the point of rushing to join an alternative fiscal system. BRICS, which may not be perfect, which it itself has its own hiccups and non-humanitarian and unjust implications. But having said that, the world is still rushing to join an alternative system that is being offered to them by the rivals of the United States. And this is something that you have to do today. Today, what you do is going to have a big reflection upon what happens in the future in terms of the economics of the United States. If you choose the genocide committing regime, then the world will recognize the American people as pro-genocide. You will be labeled as a nation worse than the Mongols, who believed in creating castles out of the skulls of the victims of the genocides that they committed. So you are no longer going to be called the champions of humanity and the champions of democracy and justice. You're going to be called worse than the Mongols, worse than what the Mongols did during their times. So this is your time to prove to the world that you're not like the Mongols, that you do believe in humanity, you do believe in peace, you do believe in a future where there is coexistence and where there is peace and where there is humanity and where there is love that can be shared by everybody. That's all I have to say. I voted today in Arizona, US, which is a key swing state. And if Dr. Jill Stein wins the independent votes in most of the key swing states, she can still rise as the future of the United States, maybe the next president of the United States. But you have to make this happen, and you have to make it happen today, right now, this very moment, as I speak these words. Bye-bye.